Welcome back. This is part 4 of the Lightning Returns walkthrough. Still on day 1. In the last video, I tailed the children of Etro to the Forsaken Graveyard entrance. Unfortunately, I didn't have the 4-digit code to enter, but I'm not looking to enter the graveyard at this time. I'm going to do that on day 2. I also scavenged throughout Old Town, opened up a few treasure spheres in that area, and picked up some important items for future side quests. Now, because the day is almost over, I'm going to explore Luxurian a little bit more and head to the South Station, pick up some treasure spheres along the way, complete a simple side quest, and try to make it there before 4:45 a.m. so I can take a train to the Dead Dunes and purchase a very important garb. Now, along the way, I strongly recommend taking out any enemies you come into contact with, especially the Niblets. The reason being is there is a quest a little bit later on in the game that requires you to drive the Niblets into extinction and take out the last of their species. Now, each species takes a certain amount to drive to extinction. For example, with the Niblets, you have to kill 100 of them before you face the last Niblet, which is a Niblet that glows pink and is a stronger version of the other Niblets, but it also drops very important items if you kill it. That's why it's a good idea to get a start early in the game and not to have to spend several hours trying to farm them later on in the game. Now, the quest I'm referring to is also a 3-star quest, so it is important to get an early head start on killing them. Now, the last quest I'm going to do before the day is over is the Soul Seeds quest. You have to speak to this shady looking guy called Baird, and he's going to ask you to collect Soul Seeds, which are found in Chaos Infusions, and you need to get one for him and then sell it to him. He only requires 1 Soul Seed, and I suggest only getting 1. Now, as you go on in the game, it's important to collect the Soul Seeds because you get an achievement or a trophy for getting 100 Soul Seeds and selling them to Baird. So it's a good idea to start collecting them early. But anyways, you just have to take out the enemy in the Chaos Infusion and then pick up the Soul Seed. It's very easy and it's a quest that's just on the way. The enemies in the Chaos Infusions are tougher to beat. Obviously, these early enemies in the game are easy to take out, but later in the game, you'll find out that fighting an enemy in a Chaos Infusion, especially if it's a very high-level enemy like a Reaver, which you're going to encounter in the Wildlands later on, is not a great idea. So make sure to pick your battles wisely, because you do get rewarded nicely, but sometimes the risk does outweigh the reward.
You know what they are, right? The shiny little lights floating in the chaos? We call them seeds, but eggs is more like it. Monster eggs in the chaos. A certain, shall we say, organization buys them up. For a good price, too. Says they, make... Listen, I pay. Here's something. One in use. If you got some... Oh, and don't worry. on a trip down Chaos Lane? Oh, I see you've decided to make the right choice.
Alright, now once that quest is taken care of, I'm going to proceed to the South Station, which isn't very far from my current location, but I am racing against the clock here. I want to try and get 2 more treasure spheres near the South Station before I head over to the Dead Dunes at 4:45. Alright, so I've made it to the South Station. Now I'm trying to find out where those treasure spheres are. I know there is one in a back alley somewhere, and the other is east of South Station. But as you can see, I'm a little bit disoriented at the moment trying to look for them. And while I'm running around aimlessly, the time is starting to go as well. So yeah, not a great idea if you're short on time. Luckily, I still have about an hour left. And perfect, I found the first treasure sphere, and it's a very valuable guard level 2. And I'm trying to look for the other one. It's supposed to be east of South Station, but I think with the way I'm facing South Station, it might actually be to the west of it. Not quite sure, but it's definitely not here.
Chocoboco! It sure has been a long time, hasn't it, Lightning?
How do you know my name? I don't think we've met.
What? Don't tell me you don't remember Chocolina! Oh, duh, of course you wouldn't. Let's just say that I gave your sister a helping hand during her journey a long, long time ago.
You helped Sarah on her journey? I hope I don't offend you, but you're not entirely human, are you?
No, sadly, in my true form, I'm not nearly as drop-dead gorgeous. But I am on your side. I'm here to help, like I did for your sister.
I don't even know you. How do I know you're not lying to me?
Well, you're just going to have to try. Ooh, I know! I can tell you all about me and my past until I convince you I'm a friend. It all started back when...
Wait.
Have you visited the Wildlands?
Yeah, I think it's actually, yeah, it's this way. So run down here by the South Station platform, enter this little area here, and pick up the guard glove. All right, perfect. Now with time to spare, I can head back to South Station and make it to the Dead Dunes in time. It is possible to get this garb on another day, but I recommend getting it as early as possible because it is incredibly valuable for the early part of the game and even to the middle part of the game as well. And there are also 2 treasure spheres in the Dead Dunes to pick up, so with time remaining, it's good to head over there right away.
Expanse of nature, green as far as the eye can see. In the Dead Dunes, you won't find much besides sand. However, many venture out there in hopes of finding great treasure buried deep in the ruins. If you're looking to travel to the city of Yusnan, I'm afraid you'll have to use the other station. Please head to Luxarian's North Station and board the train there. Go ahead and board the train.
This stop, Dead Dunes.
Alright, now while at the Dead Dunes, try to avoid any enemies you come into contact with because they are going to be way too strong for you this early in the game. So move forward towards that red cactus or cactar looking statue. There's going to be a cutscene here. And following the cutscene, head over to the outfitters and speak with the outfitters guy to purchase the Passion Rouge Garb.
Lady, do you mind if I have a word with you? Well, this is a shock. A tourist?
You could say that.
Hate to break it to you, but there's nothing worth seeing in this desert. There are some ruins out there, but they ain't the type that any decent folks should go to.
Why not? Are they dangerous?
They're just breeding grounds for monsters. Well, that and home to some legendary treasure or something. The vessel that'll summon the souls of the dead and open the door to the afterlife. They call it the Holy Clavis.
Summon souls, you said? That's promising.
Bunch of nonsense if you ask me. Not that the bandits or the Order will ever give up on it, though. They've been searching for that thing forever. I don't recommend diving into those ruins for some fairy tale. Not if you don't want those bandits on your back for invading their territory.
Thanks for the warning.
Why don't you find those bandits' headquarters and see what they know? I'm sure they'll have information about the ruins and Clavis.
This turned into a real fool's errand. I came in with a head full of dreams, but empty of sense. Thought I'd start a new market in the desert. And just look at me now. Hey, are you part of Monoculus? Not that it matters to me. Buy something, would you?
Now, what makes the Passion Rouge so valuable is because it starts off with Deprotect and Deshell, two very important abilities. Deprotect will decrease enemies' resistance to physical attacks, and Deshell decreases their resistance to magic attacks. Against higher level enemies, it's important to cast both to start off the battle. That'll make the battle a lot easier. Now that I've purchased the Passion Rouge Garb, I'm going to head north. And any enemy that spots me, I'm just going to run away from them. If you're short on time here and have some EP left, use it for chronostasis. So while running up north here, pick up that treasure sphere, and once you do, make sure to slide down. We're also going to activate that red cactar statue down near that tent right there, and that's going to come in handy later on in the game, and you'll see why. So get down here and activate that cactar statue.
Are they bandits or grave robbers? I don't know how much this
Okay, now the last treasure sphere I'm going to get is located up here on this little hill here. It's a Gale Strike level 2, and it comes in handy only for the early part of the game. It's not so valuable later on, so that's why it's a good idea to pick it up early and use it. Now, once you get the Gale Strike, you can activate that statue next to it, and that's really all there is to day 1. So, I'm going to wrap up the commentary here. In the next video, I'll be in day 2, and I'm going to be in the wildlands looking for a special chocobo. So thanks for watching, and I'm off to the next one.
Light, I just want to remind you that it's almost 6, and you know what happens then. When it's time, you'll be transported automatically up to the Ark. Welcome back, Light. Now step forward and offer your Aradia so we can give time back to the world. Pray.
As the world dies around me, I offer this blessing. Is this fruit from the light?
With the power of Aradia, you have successfully extended the world's life. Come here and I'll explain. This is Yggdrasil, the Tree of Life. It's a holy tree, and its life force is entwined with that of the world. Aradia gives Yggdrasil the power to grow. As the tree grows stronger, so too does the world. With enough Aradia, you can extend its life and push back the Day of Destruction. Up to 13 days, after which God awakens.
So the more Aradia I can collect, the bigger that tree will grow. And the bigger the tree, the longer the world has before Doomsday.
The destruction began 500 years ago, but you know that. It was when the chaos first flooded into our world. Most of the world was lost immediately under the ocean of chaos. Only one small region survived. The survivors call their island of refuge Nova Chrysalia. The chaos brought destruction, and a kind of immortality too. Suddenly everyone stopped growing. It was like we'd lost our time. But if that was a gift, it was a poisoned one. We could not age, and neither could new life be born. There were no more children, but although we were ageless, we were not immune to death. Sickness, accidents, and violence could still kill us. Life remained as fragile as it had always been. And so humanity began a new chapter of its history. The population slowly shrinking, the survivors falling into an ennui born of lives that last too long. Eventually, new creeds took hold and new legends created. One of these told of the Savior, a servant of God. She would descend to Nova Chrysalia at the end of the world, humanity's last chance for salvation. There are certain areas within Nova Chrysalia that I want you to focus on. 5 locations where I'm picking up anomalous chaos readings.
And I'm guessing one of those locations is right where Snow is.
Yes, exactly. The palace in the city of Yusnan. There is another spot, in the heart of Luxarian, the Holy City. One more in the scorching sands of the Dead Dunes. And finally, I've measured large chaos fluctuations at 2 locations in the Wildlands.
4 regions, 5 locations.
To be more precise, the goals are people, not places. For example, the chaos activity in and around Snow's palace is linked to him, and the darkness in his heart. It's the same kind of chaos that I'm picking up in the other 4 locations.
And you want me to find these 5 people?
They're your priority, yes. Those people have massive burdens on them. The fate of many rests on their shoulders, and that makes your task all the harder. Helping them will not be easy, even for God's handpicked savior. But I can help you. There's a hard truth we must face. There are thousands of people down in the world waiting to be saved, but you cannot help all of them. It's not possible.
I've only got a handful of days. There just isn't enough time, right?
This will sound cold, but you need to be efficient. Saving people who are suffering under the heaviest burdens will give you more Aradia, which is good for us. But the greater the burden, the more you might have to do before that soul can be saved. Sometimes, solving someone's problem might just take too long.
You're saying I shouldn't waste time on helping the hard cases. I've got to pick and choose who gets saved.
Of course it would be best if you could save everyone, but you can't. It's a numbers game, Light. The more souls you save, the more Aradia you can gather and offer to the tree. The time spent helping one person might be better spent saving the souls of 10 others.
Efficiency by volume, is that it? A numbers game, like you say. Control costs and maximize profits. What is it that they say? Time is money.